Listen, Titanium is going to be in your local church in a worship set near you very soon. I'm calling our worship leader and said, make it work.
Hello, and welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We use the vehicle of NBC as the voice to give you our take and our feedback on each contestant's vocal and overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we also never, ever come for any contestant as a person or as a human being, but what we are here to do is always speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. Yes. And with that, Stephanie, it's been a minute, but because of the beautiful world of editing, it's not been a minute for...
That's right.
But it has been a minute since you and I have talked. As you know, the world is moving at full speed ahead right now for our lives. But we can get it in where we can fit it in. So yes. welcome everyone to another special episode of the Pitchy Podcast. What are we talking about today, Steph?
Lord, if I didn't have this notebook in front of me, I would not know. Summer is in full effect, y'all. Full effect. James's throat has been in full effect, as he has been in a local production and receiving all types of wonderful, glowing reviews. And I have been doing at-home summer school with my children, and on top of that, putting that good teacher hat back on for other people's kids, teaching VBS, Vacation Bible School. Lots going on. But we are here today to talk about the playoffs of season 25 of NBC's The Voice. And there were some good ones.
Best ofs.
There were some good ones. So we, again, if you have not heard our format, James and I have both created our own individual top 5 list of playoffs, along with 2, that's 4. Let me put the other hand down. 2 honorable mentions that we had to include. And again, James and I have not shared our lists, so we will be revealing live on the podcast today. And if you caught the knockout episode, things don't always go like we think they're going to go. And that makes it the most fun. Just as an aside, since it has been a little hot minute, James, I actually went back and watched the knockout episode, which I don't usually do because I edit it, so I've seen it. But yesterday I went back and listened, and I was cracking up because there was like 3 times where you were like, our top 2s are the same. And I'm like, and you're like, I know our top 2s are the same. So then we were like, our top 2s are not the same.
That was crazy.
So you never know. So I'm looking forward to see how our lists shake out.
I'm not going to make any assumptions this time because every time I assume, I make a butt out of me. But what I'm going to do is say that I have a feeling our number 1s might be the same, but I'm going to stop right there. I'm just going to I'm not going. So let me start this baby off. I'm going to come in strong. I'm going to come in strong. I'm going to come in fast. Okay. With I'm going to start off with Tamale Kawai, No Woman, No Cry, Bob Marley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just a total vibe. You know, he gave us this. He really did, and it probably has something to do with his Hawaiian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
I said it's maybe just an island thing. Mm-hmm. I said it is a talent thing, absolutely, because his voice is butter.
Yes.
I said I just closed my eyes with this version of Bob Marley's classic and just went to my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
And what was so brilliant about it is there was literally a fusion of styles.
Mm-hmm.
He brought his native Hawaiian sound to a Jamaican old school reggae song. And I was like, is this an island thing? Because you got the South Pacific fusing with the Caribbean. and it just made it just put us there. I felt like I closed my eyes. I was sipping on a tropical drink. I
Come
was
on.
listening to some incredible music and
Yes.
watching God's masterpiece unfold before me in his sand and his ocean. So
Come on.
that's why he had to be in my honorable mentions. I believe this was his last round.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe.
he was an incredible contestant. So that is my first. No Woman,
Love
No
it.
Cry, Kamale, and I loved it.
Love it. Love it. I love that pick. Wonderful. All right. So my first honorable mention is Madison Curbelo for Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, that was good.
It was such a beautiful performance. What we saw with Madison over the course of her time on the show is that she took a lot of classics and put like a youthful spin to them, whether it was just the vocal choices that she made or it was a difference in the arrangement or whether she had a more acoustic feel to some of
Mhm.
her performances, and that's how she kind of made those classics her own. There was such control, like vocal control over the
Always
song. It
had
was
it. Always
beautiful.
had control.
Always had it. I felt like she was singing her own story, and she explained in the B-roll that she was kind of connecting this song to her relationship with her own father. So it was just like there were points watching it back when I did a week ago when I was making my list that I was getting chills because there was just such honesty in her performance. There was a there's always a brightness to her sound. And even with this being like a slower tempo ballady type song, there was still a brightness and a shine to the song.
Mhm.
So I really love this performance by Madison.
It was great. It was great. Madison, she went under the radar a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but the judges really were drawn to her, and that really
Yes.
says something because we
Yeah.
had some incredible not judges, coaches this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, awesome choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next one. This hurts me that this did not make my top five, but my top five I think is really strong. But
Okay.
because this was the last time we saw this person, it was Jackie Romeo. The story,
Okay.
Andy Carla. I said Jackie was. Everyone knows that Jackie was one of my favorites, my absolute favorites of the season
Mm-hmm.
throughout the competition. And frankly, I feel, and I'm going to say it again, I feel she was robbed. I feel she should have made so much of a deeper run in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie does this incredible thing. I was like, what did I not talk about before that I really wanted to bring notice to for all of you aspiring singers out there or amateur singers? And the word amateur just means that you just don't get paid for it, but
Exactly.
it doesn't mean that you're not good.
That's
Um,
right.
all of you professional singers, listen to Jackie Romeo, what she does. And I wrote something because I didn't want to miss this. Notice how, in the beginning especially, there were sections that appeared just a bit out of her range as far as the lows of this
Mm.
song, because this song is very rangy.
Mm-hmm.
I say because it happens, Stephanie will tell you, it happens to all of us, where the
Absolutely.
song, the key is just not right, the right key for us. But
Mm-hmm.
what did Jackie do? She did a very effective little trick that Jackie makes the out of the range or the lower sections that she may have vocally struggled with a part of the story, even though the
Mm.
song is called The Story.
Right.
She put this emotional inflection in her voice that it
Mm-hmm.
made you not even think that, oh, Jackie, it's a little rangy for you, Jackie.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a brilliant approach. And
Mm-hmm.
that to me, like I always say, those are signs of a pro.
Yeah.
Um, I love that she did that because once she got to the body of this song,
Mm-hmm.
it was Jackie, like she can't be touched vocally, Jackie. And
Right.
so it did not bother me that the beginning was a little low for her. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's one technique you can use, but you got to be really skilled to use it. And then somebody in my top five did it again, but used an also very effective technique for it as well, which I'll get to in my top five.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jackie Romeo, the story, I love her voice. I love her love her on this song. It is one of my favorite Brandy Carly songs. So yeah, that's mine. Stephanie?
Very good. Love that pick and really like that song on her, although she did not make my list. So
Oh,
my last honorable mention is Tay Lewis, Running Out of Moonlight by Randy Houser. Tay came out guns blazing with this song.
yeah, he
And
did.
you could tell, or I could tell, that this song was in him because this is a really difficult song. Like, I not knowing the song, but being in a position that we do, kind of analyzing songs and performances and vocals and things like that, I really took note on how quick it was. It's one of those more rhythmic country songs where you really have to find your breath, and it's an up tempo. So you got rhythm and you got up tempo, which means you better have breath control as well. And Tay has shown time in and time out that not only does he have incredible breath support, but he also has incredible range. And this song had some range to it too.
Mm.
I think that I always like when somebody does an up tempo because I
Yeah,
feel like that's the default is to do something slower on these competition shows sometimes.
it's
So
low key more difficult to
yes,
have an up tempo hit, right? The way it needs
absolutely.
to hit.
Absolutely. And this hit. This felt like Tay's song. So yeah. Another thing that I loved about this performance was that it felt like a full professional performance. And what I mean by that is in this round we got to see more BGVs, so that's kind of built in to make it look more professional. The last chorus of this song, the band was out and it was just drums and Tay singing. I love that. I love the change of the dynamics of the arrangement and the instrumentation because it just made the whole performance and the whole song just seem so well thought out. Like there seemed like there was a complete story rather than just having similar instrumentation throughout a song, which there's nothing wrong with that. It just stepped it up to me. It just made him sound like a pro. It made him sound like he was a guest artist coming on in the midst of this singing competition. And that is exactly how he attacked this song in performance, vocally and performance with the way he was doing his little two step up there. So, Tay
I,
Lewis.
so it's interesting. So my honorable mentions are not on my your honorable mentions, excuse me, are not on my list as well.
Okay.
Tay, I would say about Tay. Tay was probably, I would say, top three for consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Tay delivered every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every performance, it was like you were like, dang, God, he
Mm-hmm.
is singing it down. And
Right.
this was not an exception.
Right.
Okay, all right. So honorable mentions. I think it's the first time that unless Kamale was on your
No.
list.
I'm sorry.
Um,
Kamala was not.
that's the first time that I think Stephanie and I started off where neither of our honorable mentions were on each other's list at all.
Oh
So
boy.
here we go.
Oh
Here
boy.
we go. Number 5, I'm coming in strong again, Stephanie. I got to give my love to the young Wunderkind, as I call him, Mr. Kyle Schusler, with Something in the Orange, Zach Bryan. I said, check the birth certificate. Check it. Check it. This guy is not 19 years young singing the way he was singing. I
Right.
said, I heard some Bob Dylan
Yeah.
in the voice. Not just because Bob was known for his harmonica playing and Kyle played a wonderful harmonica, but I heard Bob Dylan just in the delivery in his
Mm-hmm.
voice. I said, I, I don't have much to say because Kyle always gave, I said, Kyle always gave the perfectly pure performance.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle always, it was just so pure.
Mm-hmm.
No bells, no whistles, just standing there strumming, blowing the harmonica and singing.
Yeah.
He looked at us more. I really paid attention. He looked at that camera more. I felt with this, I was looking for it, but I'm a little bit more
He did.
lenient than Steph in that area. So yeah, so Kyle Schusler, Something in the Orange, Zach Bryan, I loved it. Perfectly pure performance. Stephanie.
I
Number
love
5.
that. I love that. You are right. He did open up his eyes up a little. He did open his eyes up a little bit more because I believe that was a note that his coach gave him during this particular round. So yes, he did more. Unfortunately, Kyle did not make my list.
Oh,
yeah. This round was tough because now you have added in more of all the people, the playoff past people that just skipped right through. So there was a lot to consider. But I love Kyle's voice, point blank, period. You're never going to hear me say anything bad about Kyle. I love me some Kyle. My number 5 is Nathan Chester, "Oh Darling" by the Beatles,
which was my number 4.
All right, so we can
talk about this.
Very good, very good. So this is where we got our first split of the season by Nathan, which was it was so smooth. Like, you didn't see it coming. If you had looked down at your phone and then looked back up because there was like a musical break, you would have missed it. That's how slick it was. Nathan was in full command of this performance from beginning to middle to end. We really got to hear his vibrato shine in this performance. He was talking to the audience. There was much more movement. There was so much passion. John Legend was literally standing up during this performance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know this song, or if you have heard this song before, it's not a stand-up kind of song, which makes it, that's why it's on my list. That's why it's on my top 5. Because this song in anyone else's hands, it wouldn't have worked.
It would have been like falling flat.
It would have fallen so flat. Yeah. Nathan did a brilliant job of mixing vocal and performance and cutting out the cheesiness. There was always a sincerity to Nathan's performance, and that's what made this work. It was brilliant.
It's why some of the performers now, because I have a good friend that's on the ships right now, and it's why, people used to think ship entertainment was cheesy, like jazz hands and all that. No, you get the real deal now. And Nathan's an example, a beautiful example of the real deal, real entertainment value and wow factor you get from, and a lot of people go, like, it's a natural progression for some of the people who are on Broadway. They start off on those ships. So to see Nathan perform the way he does is just incredible. Mm-hmm. I said, and again, Nathan, since we're bouncing back to me, Nathan was my number 4. I say this. I said just going for the win at this point. Mm-hmm. From this point on, Nathan, every time he stepped in that stage, he was going for the win. He said, This is a competition. I'm going to take it. I'm going to win it.
That's right.
I said, Nathan captivatingly from this point on held the world's attention and never let us go until he went home.
That's right.
He never let us go. Every time Nathan jumped in that stage, we were like, what is he going to do next?
What's he going to do?
Wow. I thought it just screams professional. He's just that good. Mm-hmm. No, there was never a misstep. And that was what was scary. I think the common theme, I was thinking back, Stephanie, I was like, what's the common theme for this season? There were no really missteps when it got to a certain point. Everyone who was in the final, including Nathan, could have won it, and Stephanie and I would have been okay.
That's right.
Everyone.
That's right. Everyone.
From Asher all the way down.
That's right.
We were like, we'll be all right.
We'll be all right.
Nobody missed a step. But Nathan really didn't miss a step, literally and figuratively, because he was dancing his behind off, giving us like shades of Prince. Like, it was that smooth split like Prince used to do. Like, it's just so smooth. So smooth. Yeah, Nathan's my number 4, Oh Darling by the Beatles.
All right.
Definitely.
All right.
Number 4.
All right. My number 4 is Zoe Levere, Iris Goo Goo Dolls. She couldn't have picked a better song. She could not have picked a better song for her throat.
The song takes me back. Oh, the song takes me back.
Yes. So number one, nostalgia. So when James and I hear this song, we're like, yup, got
Like,
our attention. What you gonna do?
oh my God. So it's like you just want to rock, right?
Eh.
You just want to do like this. Yeah, exactly. I love she turned into a worship song, Stephanie.
That's where I'm going. Okay, listen, I was in full worship. The perform it was a masterpiece. She made such subtle yet impactful vocal choices to this song that she could and should, if she's allowed to, re-release this cover and make it her own, because it was a come on choice performance. Like everything that she did, it was almost like every line there was an alteration. And I was like, yes. Oh, like it was just so good. She added those choices, added a feminine touch to this song.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good point. Good point.
It was really cool. Yeah, she gave us a vocal clinic. She was preaching at the end, like literally the line that says they don't understand. She was like, they don't understand. I was like, you like she definitely had me in worship mode. And I didn't notice this until my recent listen and viewing of the song. I think she's the only one, or she's the one that used her BGVs the least.
Yes. Yes.
They only sing like one line at the end. The whole rest of the song was all Zoe. It's one I come back to. I love this performance.
I do too. It was my favorite of hers of the season. That's why Zoe was my number 2. So we're jumping around a little bit.
Okay.
But I think that the rest of them we're going to share. So
listen, you can't help it, can you? You can't help it.
I don't say what order I think the rest of them are, but I think the rest of them we are going to share. Or at least one or two more we're going to share.
Okay.
But that was my number 2. Iris, the Goo Goo Dolls. Yeah, nostalgic. I said I was transfixed by this performance. I was like absolutely astonished. And you all remember when I talked about Jackie earlier? This was the other performance I was talking about, where Stephanie and I know this song because it's like of our generation. So we know that there are parts of the song for a female to sing this song, which would be kind of, but no. To Stephanie's point, what did Zoe do? She did what the ultimate musician should do. She altered the melody by 1 or 2 notes, especially at the end of her phrases.
Yes.
That she did that. It was most effective.
Yes.
Not only was it most effective, it sounded incredible because she stayed in the chord. She stayed in it.
Yes.
I said at this point, Zoe was a front runner. She was no longer. I had labeled her the dark horse before.
Yes.
No. Zoe was a front runner. This was, with the exception of one other performance, like that to me just, made me fall out. Made me and Stephanie fall out. I was like, this was the best of the night, minus, what was our number 1. Just listen. If you go back and listen to this, to Stephanie and Mai's point, listen to the end of the phrases. Listen to what she does. And she does it multiple times until she gets to the part of the song that is right in her sweet spot, right? But in the verses, you got to hear it.
She said, only truth in the light.
Yep.
Now, and look, you see how James knew exactly what I was talking about? Listen, that's how much we've listened to her version of this song.
It was fire. It was fire.
Woo!
All right, Stephanie, what is your number 3?
So number 3. My number 3 is Brian Olsen, Africa. And I forget who does Africa.
And I know what your number 2 and number 1 are, but go on.
He cannot help it, y'all. He cannot help it. Brian, oh my God, Brian. So there are just some songs, right? When we hear that somebody's doing a song, before we have heard the artist sing a note, we already like, yeah. And this is this song. This is this song. James made this point in the original podcast that not just anybody can sing this Africa, right? Not just anybody can sing this Africa. You got to have some seasoning in order to do this.
That's my favorite part of that song.
You got to have some seasoning on you in order to do this Africa right. Okay. The range of it all. So this song is rangy, y'all. Like the verses are like, you know, like in here, and then you get to the either pre-chorus or chorus, and it's like, like wait, how we start from here and go all the way up there. Brian handles it like a pro. Brian handles it like the pro that he is. The guitar of it all. Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, you ain't playing. You fit in the show. What you fit in the show? Because, and what I mean by show is you fit in the show what we gonna get when we go to a Brian concert. Because this was risky. And I think I said this in the original podcast. He took measure or two in order to go get the guitar. Meanwhile, the BGVs was doing some singing. But when he came in, he put that thing on he fixed that thing and he said, I'm blessed. I was like, the arrangement, it was so perfect. It was so perfect. I was like, you have to have the utmost confidence in not only your ability, but also just to take the risk of taking that much time away from you actually singing to set up this moment, which was perfect and executed perfectly, might I add. Ooh! Africa. Listen, where do I purchase my tickets, Brian? I'm ready to come to a show.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I can't believe I let Brian off my list. Brian did not make my list for knockouts. And this is the first time that we saw Brian back, because Brian was a super save. And yeah.
What? Why?
That's why I know my number 3 and your number 2 are the same and our number 1s are the same. I'm saying this with extreme confidence. But I can't believe it, because Brian was another one, like Tay, like Nathan, like from here on out, it didn't miss. It didn't miss. This was a very strong performance of his.
Why did this not make your list?
Because I just had too many ones that I felt like I had a personal connection with. For some reason, I didn't have as a personal connection. Vocally, the song choice, it was fire. But I mean, you'll see because I mean, we talked about Zoe already, so I'm gonna jump to my number 3.
Okay.
And my number 3 is, I'm sure your number 2, Maddie Jane, Stay Rihanna. Because we knew Maddie Jane as the pop princess.
Yes.
Like you said, I've been saying, I said, if Maddie was born 20 years earlier, she would have dethroned all of the pop princesses that we know, because she's that spectacular, that special.
Mm-hmm.
But I call this the perfection performance. I put poise, passion, and punctuation.
Come on.
Maddie Jane stood there in a beautiful dress and Whitneyed it, and Mariah'd it, and Celine'd it. She literally did not give you the no. She stood there and said, yeah, I can do that, but I can also stand and deliver. Stand and deliver. I said, she just stood there and sang that song down.
Uh-huh.
I said, Maddie Jane said, you know what? I'm going to let my voice do all the performing.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no one-trick pony. I bring depth. I bring diverse singing. I can sing anything, and I can be the best at it. Mm-hmm. And that's why she was my number 3. Zoe, I thought she and Zoe could have been interchangeable, mm-hmm. 2 and 3. I literally was like, because I couldn't decide, because those two were so spectacular. But Maddie Jane, this is where we saw like the depth of how ridiculous of an artist that this woman is and is going to be, because she stood there and she sang that Rihanna down. Stephanie.
She's my number 2.
Yeah, had to be.
She's my number 2.
Had to be.
Yeah, this was her.
We went ape crap crazy.
Yeah, because this was her stand and sing. Like,
yeah.
I don't know that I was expecting her to do this at this point in the competition, even though we've been through a few rounds. But I was pleasantly surprised by the choice. It's so funny that you mentioned like Celine and Whitney and Mariah, because prior, just as you said, we've talked about her pretty much inhabiting every pop princess and exhibiting that in the prior rounds. So for this round, she upgraded and gave us every pop queen with this performance.
Pop queen.
Yeah, this was Come On Choice. This was Come On Dynamics. This was Come On Vulnerability. This was like, there was like, she was
Holleration.
Come On Holleration. That last stay. Ooh. I was like, all right, like, you shot, exclamation point. That was the exclamation point. Like, punctuation. Like, if you didn't get it prior to this moment in the song, let me give you all of this throat and show you what I can do. Yeah, the whole last section of that song was cool. One thing, if I were to talk to Maddie, I would ask her why she had one inner ear out.
I remember you were like, something ain't gone.
I was like, is something funky, or do you just want to hear the ambient noise as well as hearing you and the music? Like,
yeah.
So if there was something going on with her ears, I'm about to give you a real stand-in ovation, because the vocal that she was able to deliver, if in fact she was having some inner ear monitor issues, all the more incredible.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I was like, okay. I was like, every round that this woman has sung on, from the second she set foot on that stage, I said, she is an assassin.
Yes.
Assassin. You don't want to get into a dirty knife fight. You will lose. You will lose every time.
No. Every time.
So, I'm going to preface this. I said, as far as the Pitchy Podcast was concerned, that's what I wrote, because I knew our number one was going to be the same. As far as the Pitchy Podcast was concerned, the competition was over at this point of the competition. It was over because of what Stephanie and I and the world witnessed. Was he middle, second to last, or last? I can't remember.
I do not remember the order.
I remember what order. But Stephanie and I often talk about, if you go back to our actual episodes of the shows, we talk about order and the way they place these singers.
This might have either been a closer or the one prior to the closer.
It's usually first, one prior to close, and close are usually the coveted spots, right?
Yes.
It's just how it is. Asher Yvonne, CS Titanium, the competition was over. You know what I wrote? I said, because we've already talked so much about it. Do you remember, did you watch the early years of America's Next Top Model?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll know this reference. I said, it was like when I saw Eva the Diva, or Eva Marcel, on America's Next Top Model.
Yes.
The second I saw Eva, the second she went to panel for the first time, the second she opened her mouth and gave us all that personality, where I said, it's over.
It's a wrap.
No more. I said, I don't care how cute, how beautiful, how stunning any other girl or woman who comes on this show after Eva in this season, because Eva has everything.
Everything.
And that is what I compared to Asher. I said, you can come on your best day. You can come on your best day. As a lot of them did. Especially my and Stephanie's top three.
Absolutely.
They came on their top three behind what our number ones are.
Right.
I said, but you can't, like, it's just different. It's just every great male and female singer, like of not just our generation, of many generations, were in his throat. The cadence of the song, like in the Black church, there's a statement where they say, "Take your time."
Take time.
The taking of the time. Nothing to lose. Fire away. And I'm not singing it, y'all. Fire away. Like, I am tight. I can't even do it.
I am titanium.
Like I just was like, 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 nothing to lose. I said, no, stop. You're hurting us, Asher. You're hurting us.
Look, I'm doing the Val T. When she pulled that thing up,
I said, competition was over. Stephanie.
He turned this into a worship song.
Yeah.
He turned this into a worship song. And if you have not seen, either go to the Pitchy Podcast Instagram or go to Asher's Instagram, and you will see a rehearsal of him doing this song for a performance that he had this past weekend in Salma. And you will see, you will see the Holy Spirit take hold of that thing. Okay? Listen, Titanium is going to be in your local church in a worship set near you very soon. I'm calling our worship leader and said, make it work. Because listen, this thing had
Africa.
I don't know if he's home from Africa yet. That might all the more influence it. Got them good vibes going on. Got them good African vibes going on. Listen, this song has Ephesians 6:11 all up in it. Or Ephesians 6, the arm of God. Okay, we talk about I am titanium. We talking about that breastplate of righteousness. We talking about that shield of faith. We talking about them shoes of peace. We talking about that belt of truth. We talking about that helmet of salvation. We talking about that sword of the spirit. That I am titanium. Okay? Listen, that man said, shout it out. I said, oh my God. Like, it's the first line. It was the first. He said, fire away, fire. Like, listen, I literally go around my house talking about, I am titanium. Like, ain't nothing bothering me. When my kids is being a mess, I am titanium. When I get anxious about something, I am titanium. Like, it's a worship song to me now. Like,
and that falsetto at the end, that's like taking.
He said,
like with the knife, he was like, oh. I was like, I'm dead, doggone it, I'm dead.
I'm dead already. I have never. I would have.
No.
But when I heard that he was singing this song, I knew that was the spin, that because there's just oil on the throat, right? Yeah. I've never thought of titanium really in that sense before. But the minute that he started singing, I was just like, Jesus. Jesus. Oh my God. That man said, whoo! I said, oh my God.
The end. He's like, no. I said, nah, that was down the octave.
Yes. Yes.
That's it.
And then it felt like a release at the very end. He was like, I'm titanium. Like, just like, what just happened? What just happened? What I was so grateful for to know is that when I saw Asher's the rehearsal footage, I commented from us like, oh my goodness, you could see the Holy Spirit, whatever. He messaged us back and said that he hadn't really thought about that song like that until hearing our podcast. So I was so honored to hear that, because now it has because now it has a special meaning to him. But oh my goodness, I literally, like, it could go into, like, if I had a worship playlist, that song could fit right in. Fire away. Just Ashley's version though. And I just want to be 100% clear about who sings the song. Sia sings the song, but it was originally it's a David Guetta song, so he produced it. Sia sang the song.
Yeah.
It's Ashes now. You might as well give this one up, Sia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sia, I'm sure Sia called across the pond. It was like, it's yours.
It's yours.
Asha.
It's yours.
It's yours, Asha. Yeah. So wow, Stephanie, this was a great round. Great round.
Yes.
I was like, okay, well, I definitely know who our number ones are. Like when I was going through the list, I was like, oh, wow, I mean, come on. Welp. So, thank you all for always checking in. You know, we got these long dog summer days. These hot. It has been a sauna here in the Mid-Atlantic States region, but we are trying to stay cool, and we hope that this podcast, in addition to some wonderful air conditioning, is keeping you cool as well.
Yes.
So, we will see you all for our next round, which I believe is the first round of lives.
Are we clumping lives all up into one? Or are we doing each sound? I don't think we're doing each round of lives, or we just, we might have to do a top 10 of lives since there are that many episodes.
That's a really good idea.
So let's do a top 10 of lives. That way we can just knock all the lives out.
No mentions, just top 10.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right, you all. Until we meet you all again, Stephanie, tell them what they need to hear.
So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. Also, check us out on YouTube. Search for The Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And last, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next time for the Lives Extended Edition.
Top 10.
All right, you all. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.